So we also need to make sure after we set the title, and we have to do launch in the main, then we can just run the windows right there, right? So this is when you do it on Eclipse. Now you can pretty much do the same thing on Git Batch, right? So let's take a look at the code on Git Batch. Let me show you on Git Batch. So we just do, I just make the directory, right, authentication, vi. But one thing that I want to show is you are not required to have main when you run on terminal, Git Batch or CMD. It still work. Right there, right? And on CMD too. Just be careful about the packages. If you include a package, you have to run with the packages like that. And this is the code for the CMD. No main required. Right, now come back to, we pretty much learned the basic of the stage. So that's just to show up the windows, right? The stage, right? That's the windows. This is called stage in JavaFX window. You can set the title of the stage. You can close because you just create the windows. This is called JavaFX. Now we're going to learn how to put the scenes up onto the top of stage. And scenes, pretty much you can start to add stuff onto the scenes like buttons. So let's take a look at how to put the scenes. So you pretty much just need to set the scene, right? Set the scene, and you can create the size of the scenes here, right? Like when you do new scanner, so this is new scene, right? You set the scene and set new scene. Okay. Now, and you need to put besides scene, like we said, we need to put a stack pane or root right there. So I want you to take a look at the code here a little bit. So stack pane, you see that stack pane is the root. Like on the top of the scenes, we need to create a root, and the root itself can start to add the buttons onto it. See that? So this image is very important when you're dealing with JavaFX. You create stage. We're going to put the new scene onto the state by set scene. And the scene itself need to have the root. You have to pass the root into the scene. And root creating from stack pane, root equals new stack pane. Like when you do scanner, right, keyboard equals to new scanner. And then you pass the root into the scene. And then you can start to set whatever items that you want to show on the root, and we can look at this as a get children dot add. Like root is like a tree which has a root, and then you can start to have the child of the tree, which is we said get children dot, and then you add the button to it. So that means you need to instantiate the buttons, create a new button, right? And you add the button to it. So let's make that simple first. Okay, so let's review. So we know we have the stage, right? So we need a button. We need the stack pane, right? And we need the button, stack pane, and the scene, right? So we're going to create a button. So let's create a button first. After the title, button btn equals to new. You can rename, this is like when you submit for authentication. I'm going to say submit button, right? Equals to new button. And you just say submit as a text. Of course, you need to import this, right? JavaFX, make sure you get the right one. Alright, so we have the button. Now we're not going to worry about anything else yet, like how to make an action when you click on the button. At this point, we just want to see the GUI. We want to add a button onto the stack pane first, right? So stack pane, and we name it root equals to new stack pane. Alright, so of course we need to import it again, right? And make sure you get the right one. Stack pane. stack import it right there. JavaFX. Alright, so we need to put a button onto the pane, right? So set children, get children first, because we said children of the root, so we get the children of the root, and then we can start to add the submit button to it. Okay, now we need to put a root into the scene, right? So we, like, you can do scene like this too, right? Scene equals to new scene, and then you pass the root to the scene. Of course, we need to import a scene. See that? Right. And then let me make sure we understand again. What I did is I create a button. If you look at the image of this, right, we need to have the button, and the button is the root of stack pane, right? See that? Root of stack pane. So that's why I create a stack pane, right? And these are classes that we import them in. And then I add a button to, I say root get the children, so I get the children, add a button to it. And now I need to put a root into the scene. I create a scene and put a root to the scene. So lastly, I need to put a scene on the stage, right? So I need, my stage is pretty much my primary stage here, right? That I need to set the scene and put a scene. Alright, so let's see if we get a button up. Hurrah. So if I didn't set the size, so it's going to wrap right into that. So if I set the size, I can just say, okay, 500 by 500. This is X and Y width and height in pixel. See, width and height 500 by 500. So this is square. So I get the buttons to the scene. So we see we have this working. We set the size to 500 by 500. So that's the width and height of the application. We want to make a program to the button. Always say when we want to make a program set on action. So this, and then new event handler. So this is pretty much a syntax that you just copy this whole thing. And this is what you want to implement inside. Okay. So let me show you first. So we worry about the button. So we're going to go underneath the button, submit btn dot set on action. And it already suggests you that, hey, you need to create a new event handler. Okay. So this is pretty much just something that you're going to handle it when when there's a click on the button, what you try to do. So event handler is going to taking care. Okay. And this is pretty much just like a constructor. Like when you do new scanner, you have parentheses inside right there. Okay. And then you pretty much just put the curly braces like that and close your parentheses offset on action. And with semicolon. So always put this syntax for now. Don't worry about why, because you're going to learn that in 201. Now, when you want it to work, just follow this, copy this code. And of course, this one requires you to have the handle. Okay. We import first JavaFx event handler. Okay. And then we add unimplemented, which is the handle. And then we import action event again. So it's happy now. Like I said, just type that syntax. And then just try to import event handler that we need. And then add unimplemented, like override it concept that I told you, like start. Because event handler need handle. Okay? To follow with that. Like at this point, just remember that. Don't try to understand it yet. You learn that. Whenever you need to have something action when you click, just follow this code. It will work. Okay. Like now, if I want to say JOption pane.show message dialog and just say let's say welcome, right? Because that's pass authentication. Alright, so let's run that and test welcome, because you passed authentication. So that means your code actually just go in here if the username is correct, right? So I'm going to start to write my code here. Say I'm going to declare my correct username, right? Make sense? Correct password. Okay, string. This is pretty much the same thing that you already know. User, correct user name, right? Equals to CSC 200 and string correct password equals to password. Alright, so I declare those two. I just want to test first if what? If correct user name dot equals, you need to get input here, right? Right, so let's say input, right? Okay. Then you guys say welcome, right? Else you guys say fail authentication, okay? Okay, and welcome pretty much just what? Plus with the user, right? Which is input, right? Now I'm going to use string instead of enum. I just need to declare my input, right? So string input. Of course, I'm going to just test first. Okay, I'm going to test first. I'm going to need to add the text fill in and right, correct password dot equals to input pw. Okay, so I have input password. So I'm going to just do the same. This is just to test that logic. and run it, it should work, right?